Hey guys, Lee, Travis, with another episode of the show that asks you to pick guys on a top 6 list. And that show's name is...
Top 6!
Okay, before we get into this week's top 6, please share this video with your friends, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, any social media, Instagram, whatever you have. We really appreciate the help. It helps us grow, and it helps us make better content. So without further ado, here's this week's top 6, which is Conn Smythe Trophy winners since 2002.
Number 6.
All right, starting our list today is a Detroit Red Wing from 2008. It's Henrik Zetterberg when the Red Wings defeated the Penguins in 2008, right before the Penguins started winning all of their cups that we know them for today. So a little rite of passage there. Again, the Conn Smythe's all about best player throughout the entire playoffs, not just the cup final. And Zetterberg with 27 points this year, which is one of the higher point totals on our list, absolutely deserves to be within the top 6.
Yeah, and plus he played really well defensively too. It wasn't all just about points. He put up 27 points, but he also had a huge penalty kill.
Outstanding job by Henrik Zetterberg coming all the way back on Sidney Crosby.
Yeah. Plus minus a plus 16. That's something we're definitely going to talk about later. But moving on!
Number 5.
All right, number 5 is another Detroit Red Wing from 2002 when the Red Wings defeated the Carolina Hurricanes. It's everyone's favorite defenseman, Nicklas Lidstrom. And Lidstrom, of course, the consummate defenseman in the league for about 20 years. Won how many Norris trophies did he win? Five Norris trophies. It's no surprise he won a Conn Smythe, although I don't think he's the D that should be on this list.
What?
I don't think he's the D that should be on this list.
Who?
Duncan Keith. Duncan Keith should absolutely be on this list. He had an extremely high point total when the Hawks beat the Boston Bruins. He should absolutely be in this top 6.
Over Nick Lidstrom.
On this list.
Qualms.
Moving on.
Number 4.
Now we have the only goaltender on the list. I think you could actually make an argument for number 1 here, and it's Jonathan Quick with the LA Kings with one of the greatest goaltending performances I've ever seen in my lifetime when they won the Cup for the first time. A 141 goals against average, a save percentage that would make anybody jealous. Not only did he drive his team through the playoffs, he wasn't an unknown at the time, but the LA Kings were not a top seed going into the playoffs. They never would have got to the final without him, much less won the final. It was his stand-up performance. It's why Jonathan Quick is a household name today.
Yeah, Jonathan Quick for sure, and pretty much every playoff series he's in, except for I think the last year they were in there.
Yeah.
He's great. He's like a regular season, like he's average, which I think is a big knock for everyone. But as soon as playoffs come, man, that dude's lights out. He's all like, like.
Well, he's the guy. You okay? If he's a guy that's got to be on the list, I think another goaltender should be on this list, but we'll get back to that later. Moving up.
Jonathan Quick.
Number 3.
Okay, number 3 on the list comes courtesy of the 2010 Cup Final when the Chicago Blackhawks defeated the Philadelphia Flyers, and that is none other than Captain Sirius, Jonathan Toews.
Captain Sirius.
Captain Sirius.
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 This is Sirius. SRS. Sorry.
No, I'm not serious.
Are you serious about your serious in-game game face? May I see it?
It just comes naturally. This is it, What you see is what you
Show
get.
them.
Deserves to be on the list. He had 29 points in that playoff series. Led his team to the first Stanley Cup in decades. Was the youngest captain at the time to win the Stanley Cup. There's many reasons why he should have been on there. Led his team, absolutely right candidate, right person for this list. Deserves to be there.
Yeah, for sure. I'd agree with that.
Me too.
Good on both ends.
Yes.
Number 2.
All right, taking the second spot on our list is another Chicago Blackhawk. He had 19 points in this playoff year. It was a lockout year, so it was half a season. That person is everybody's fan favorite, Patrick Kane. Now, I don't think he should be on this list, although I will say that he had a great performance. He deserved the Conn Smythe that year, but with all the names on this list, he probably doesn't make my top 6.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a flashy name. He's a good player. And, he's done well in playoffs, but I don't know if he's, like, all-time, like, oh, my God, like, Patrick, he's a great leader, Conn Smythe.
I think he had a couple huge moments in those playoffs,
Yeah.
but it wasn't the best overall playoff thing. But that is going to bring us to...
Number 1.
Topping another one of our lists is none other than the captain, the 2-time Conn Smythe Trophy winner, the 3-time Stanley Cup winner, the league's golden boy. That's not my choosing, that's what people call him. Sidney Crosby is your number 1 pick for Conn Smythe Trophy winners since 2002. Now, look, Crosby has to be on this list. He's the only player on the list to have won it twice. I think he's only one of 3 or 4 players to have won it twice. The only person to win it 3 times is Patrick Waugh.
And then twice is, like,
Yeah.
Bernie Perrant,
Yeah.
Gretzky, Lemieux. Like,
Yeah.
he's an elite company.
Yeah, so he deserves to be on the list. He gets a lot of flack for his performances point-wise, and this is what I'm going to say. The Conn Smythe's not just about goals and assists. It's about two-way play. Steve Yzerman was a person who did this really well. And if you watch Crosby's performances in the last 2 Cups, his play at both ends of the ice is one of the main reasons they won the Cup. Not to mention, he's got more eyes on him all the time than anybody else in the league. He's got more pressure on him than anybody else in the league. He's the assignment of every defense in the league.
He draws the best the best players too.
Yeah.
I mean, like Phil Kessel and Nick Bonino had a great playoff run in 2015, and like I could see people saying that Matt Murray deserved it.
Yeah,
as
would be
a rookie goalie for sure. But like Phil Kessel and Nick Bonino only put up points like they did because everyone was playing Crosby and Malkin. Like
that's a good point.
And then this year, the people that say he didn't deserve it, that's ridiculous because he had one of the highest point totals for sure.
Yeah,
but also
he was second in the
yeah.
in
But
points
he also played the best two-way game on that team. Like, and he was setting everything up. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
No, and who else are you going to give it to?
Well,
to be fair.
look. Here's the thing. Again, when you guys really look at the overall performance, you can make arguments. He shouldn't have got it. He should have got it. He's definitely in the conversation for it, and he's won it twice, so he's number one. But that's going to bring us to some people that we think should be on the list that didn't make the list, and these are going to fill out our honorable mentions. Okay, before we talk about the people who didn't make the list, let's talk about the people who did make your list of Conn Smythe winners since 2002. Leading the pack from the Pittsburgh Penguins is Captain Sidney Crosby. Number 2 is Patrick Kane, followed by another Blackhawk and Jonathan Toews. Number 4, the LA King, Jonathan Quick, the netminder. And then we got 2 Red Wings to finalize the list, Nicklas Lidstrom and Henrik Zetterberg. That is your top 6 Conn Smythe winners since 2002. All right, this brings us to our favorite part of the show where we just completely disagree with your results and throw them out the window and tell you who we think had to be on this list. And leading that list, number 1, is Evgeny Malkin, who not only should be on this top 6 list, it boggles my mind that you guys didn't pick him, but he could possibly be number 1. To put this in perspective, he had 36 points in 2009, the year he won it, when the Penguins won the Stanley Cup. The only names in Conn Smythe history who people have won the Conn Smythe with more points than that, their names are Lemieux and Gretzky. That's the company he's keeping. It was one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen. He just drove the Penguins through the playoffs to win that cup. For some of you, it should be good because his name's not Sidney Crosby, and he deserves this award. He deserves to be on the list 100%.
Yeah, at the very least, he deserves to be on the list. You could also argue that he might deserve another Conn Smythe, but that's an argument for another day.
Yeah, another day.
We're not talking about that,
it's an argument
guys.
for today. Comment below if you want to argue that. Moving on, another name that has to be on this list, in my opinion, is Justin Williams of the LA Kings. Not only is that not the first time he's been clutch in the playoffs, but 3 Game 7s for them in 4 series that year. He had 5 points in those Game 7s. Talk about being clutch. Not only that, but he just led that team to the playoffs. When they needed a big goal, he showed up. To me, that's what this award is all about.
Yeah. It's a little contradictory to the Jonathan Quick being put on the list
No, the Jonathan Quick won it and Justin Williams won it in different years.
I know. I'm just saying Jonathan Quick was really good in that playoff series too. But again,
Jonathan Quick was great, but he was not as clutch as Justin
these
Williams.
are more arguments for other days.
All right, and then the final name on our list is J.S. Jaguar. He's the goalie for the Anaheim Ducks in 2003 when they lost in the New Jersey Devils. A lot of Devils fans feel that Martin Brodeur should have won the Conn Smythe that year. Again, just to put this in perspective, he's the only name on this list of a player who lost in the final and got named that. I think there's a special merit to that, to have lost in the Cup final and still been named the Conn Smythe Trophy winner. Again, there's no way the Anaheim Ducks got to the final in 2002 without J.S. Jaguar. The Devils had an established lineup. 2003. The Devils had a very established lineup. They had won cups before. The Ducks came out of nowhere. They defeated Dallas. They defeated Detroit. They defeated Minnesota. 2 of those 3 teams were cup favorites. His performance was incredible. He also had the largest pads I've ever seen of a goalie ever. They actually made rules because of this guy's pads. You should check out a picture of him. Actually, we'll put a picture of him right here, just so you can see how big his pads were that year. But J.S. Jaguar, to me, that performance, I remember watching that. I could not believe the saves he was making to get them through. He did eventually win a cup with Anaheim years later, but that performance for me has to be on the top 6.
Do you know what he was doing when he was making those saves?
Yes.
It was all like...
I gotta deal with this every day.
Top 6.
Alright guys, that's going to do it for this edition of Top 6. We're going to have another Top 6 message out next week. We're going to try and do these every other week moving forward. We cannot thank you enough for your support. Please share this video. Please tell your friends. The more people that get involved with Hockey Achievements, the bigger prizes we can do, the bigger donations we can do, and the better challenges we can do. Speaking of that, we have multiple challenges going on right now. HockeyAchievements.com. Check it out. You guys are the best. We fueled on you, we run on you, and we love you. Take care.